Hi everybody, it's Amy here. Thank you so much for clicking on this video. I'm really excited to have you here listening and watching. My goal with this video, like all my other videos, is that by the end, you would have learned enough about the book that I'm discussing that it would feel like you almost read it. So today's book is called How to Think Bigger, and I really like it because it kind of feels like a pep talk in that time where you might feel like you're in a bit of a rut, or maybe you feel like you've lost a little bit of motivation, or maybe you're not even sure where to start. The author begins the book with a poem which beautifully captures a lot of the ideas from the book, and I really enjoyed it. So I'm going to read it to you so that you can enjoy it as well. If you think you are beaten, you are. If you think you dare not, you don't. If you like to win, but you think you can't, it's almost certain you won't. If you think you'll lose, you're lost. For out of the world we find success begins with a fellow's will. It's all in the state of mind. If you think you're outclassed, you are. You've got to think high to rise. You've got to be sure of yourself before you can ever win a prize. Life's battles don't always go to the stronger or faster man, but soon or late the man who wins is the man who thinks he can. And if you'd like to look this poem up to maybe give it a read yourself, it's called Thinking by Walter D. Wintle. And I really like this because it does kind of give you the root of what I see at this book is being able to envision yourself being successful, or being able to envision yourself achieving whatever it is you want to achieve, from some great goal, or even, like the author, an ability to overcome extreme shyness. The point is, he believed in himself and his ability to overcome that, and that was the root of him actually overcoming it in the end. To me, that's a great foundation to understand this book, is your ability to think you can do it, or you are capable of it. Because if you think that, you will be, and if you don't think you're capable of it, it is very likely you won't achieve it. One of the first ideas that the author discusses, which I really like, is that very successful people don't just kind of pull the success out of thin air and it continues multiplying and multiplying. Often what happens is that successful people kind of construct their environment in a way that is conducive to their success. So it obviously depends on your goal, but if you have a goal of maybe studying some type of degree and doing really well, if you surround yourself with friends who don't believe in education or don't believe in studying, it'll be really hard to kind of push past those ideas and thoughts that you're constantly faced with and actually do what you need to do. It's still possible, but it's a lot easier when you surround yourself with people who maybe are also studying for that degree, or at least support you and believe that you are capable and that there is worth in it. Another way of looking at this is, if you're working to be healthier, if you have healthy ingredients, you are more likely to make something that is healthy. It's very hard to be healthy if you have all these unhealthy, easy to access ingredients that are so much easier than making something that's more healthy. So that is one of the first keys to being successful, or to setting yourself up for success, is to sit and think about, what's in my environment? Does it help me to achieve whatever it is I want to achieve? If not, what can you do to make it better? Even if you think about like what you absorb, what you watch, what you listen to, is it really something that maybe assists you even in the slightest way to achieve your goals, or does it detract from it? And this isn't to say that if you have some negativity around you, or an environment that you maybe can't change and you have to just deal with to be able to achieve what you want to achieve. It's very possible. It just takes twice the amount of work. So you can do it, and I'm fully aware that some people come from environments that they may not have a lot of control over. If you do have control though, then do what you can to try and support yourself in the best way that you can. So if that's with the people you surround yourself with, what you watch, what you consume, what's around you, make sure that it lifts you up and supports you with your goals, because for every negative thing that you hear or consume, you have to kind of pile on a whole lot more positive things to counteract that. Next, the author shares this idea that there is no substitute for the certainty that you will achieve your goal. And this might be trickier, and it's definitely easier said than done. But basically, if in your mind you believe in yourself and you believe that you will achieve this goal, your mind will find ways to assist you in achieving that goal, because your mind always works to work out a solution. It seeks a solution the whole time. So if you believe in yourself, then it's going to seek to look for ways to help bring that to life. If for whatever reason you don't believe in yourself, your mind is going to look for reasons to show that to be true to you, because it's going to look for things to try and back up whatever you believe or whatever is at the forefront of your mind. If you believe that you are too scared to do something, you're too shy to do something, you don't have what it takes, if that's really what you believe, unfortunately, your brain is going to look for things to prove that to be true. So it really does, again, all start in the mind. Your brain can either assist you in looking for ways to achieve the things that you believe to be true, or it's going to again look for ways to achieve the things that you believe to be true. And it's just about you working on what you actually believe. And I know beliefs are hard and they can feel very entrenched, but it is very, very possible to actually tap into your beliefs and work on changing them if that is what you want. At this point, I think it's necessary to mention that our brains are wired to look out for danger, and it's just an evolutionary thing that we want to protect ourselves as best we can so that we can live for longer. And to do that, sometimes it means we have to be very, very aware of danger, even if the kinds of danger that we assume are coming may not be life threatening. So it's just great to just know that this happens, because when you feel very anxious or when your brain is making you feel like you're actually in danger, you can just be aware of it, accept it. The more that you try to push it away or pretend that it's not there, oftentimes the bigger it gets. So let those emotions be what they are. That said, work on some sort of way to calm yourself down and bring yourself back into the reality, whether or not that's a meditation, whether or not that's kind of directly challenging anxious or unhelpful thoughts with thoughts that oppose them, that are more helpful and empowering. Whatever it is, have some sort of tool that can bring you out of that anxious state where you fear the risk you're going to take, you fear the work that you're going to have to put in to achieve the thing you want to achieve, and just remind yourself of why you're doing it, or even challenge yourself, what's the worst that could happen if I give this my all? I'm a big fan of what the author brings up next, because I really do believe in the power of self-care, and also that the most simple acts of self-care often have the most impact. And what the author brings up is sleep. And it's all different depending on who's watching. If you are somebody who really does prioritize their sleep and doesn't really struggle with sleep, this may not apply to you too much, in which case, keep going. You're doing the right thing. But for those of you who may be listening who really struggle with the sleep, you don't prioritize your sleep, and you know you don't get enough sleep, then this is for you, and this is really a sign to start paying attention to your sleep and start prioritizing it, because the author says that sleep is a silent killer to your productivity and your well-being. It can be really, really detrimental to your health. And I know this to be true as well. The author says that a week of sleeping 4 or 5 hours per night is equal to an impairment equivalent to a blood alcohol level of 1%. It literally takes away your concentration, your ability to focus, and it's no wonder if you're really struggling with your sleep, you're not feeling at your best. Next, the author speaks about the concept of busyness or being busy. I think in today's culture, we are all somewhat obsessed with the idea of being busy. It almost sounds cool when you have a conversation with somebody and they ask you, "How are you?" And you can answer by saying, "I'm so busy. Things are so crazy." It feels good. I think there's a lot of kind of value placed on the idea of being very busy because that must mean you're doing important things. However, the author puts across this idea that don't mistake being in motion for actually engaging in action. And the way you can think about this is just because you're busy doesn't mean you're productive. So I think this is really helpful because you don't always have to be so busy to be productive. I think you can be productive and not feel super overwhelmed and feel like your whole life's incredibly busy. Of course, whatever stage of your life you're in, I understand that it looks different from person to person. I do think this is an interesting thing to think about, though, is when you feel yourself wanting to just be busy or be in that state of motion just because it's addictive. It does get addictive, or it just makes you feel like you are doing something. Maybe take a step back and think about how you can be productive in this moment rather than just busy. How can you engage in meaningful action rather than just being in motion? This means that you're a lot more mindful with what you're doing and actually having an intention behind the things that you do really leads to a more fulfilling life, and it helps you to actually take more productive steps to a goal that you want to achieve if you're really thinking about what those steps are and what they shouldn't be. To come full circle here with how we began this video, the author says that there's so much importance in being able to achieve your goals when you think of the concept of self-efficacy. And I think that's not a term that we often use, especially in the self-development world. And I think we should use it more because self-efficacy is our belief in our ability to actually complete something or do something. So it's like your self-efficacy in being able to wash dishes and pack them away, or your self-efficacy in being able to drive home from work. Those are pretty simple things that you know you can do, so you do them. So think about self-efficacy in terms of things that you really want to achieve. Even if you haven't achieved it yet, it's really important that you believe that you can achieve it. And one of the best ways that you can work on self-efficacy is by actually engaging in action, by proving to yourself through your own actions that you can achieve these things. And then once you achieve it, soak in it, enjoy it, and move on to the next thing. And I really like to use my running as an example, or my exercise in general, because growing up, I really was not very fit. I hated PE. I hated movement, to be fair. And around about COVID, I really wanted to take this seriously and started to get into fitness. And now it's really a part of me. I feel that I have a lot of self-efficacy around fitness because I proved it to myself in actions. Even when I didn't have actual proof of me achieving my goals, of being able to exercise 5 days a week and get fit and do X, Y, and Z, I proved it to myself slowly with action. And I did believe in my heart of hearts that as long as I approached this from me wanting to do it, me wanting to have goals that's not only about the way that I look, that I could do it. So really think about this idea of self-efficacy and what is going to allow you to believe that you can achieve your goal. And that might mean you need to kind of shift things around a little bit and think about it a little bit differently. But this really is the key in being able to take those stepping stones to get to where you want to be. In psychology, we call this the self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's the idea that if you think something's going to happen, or deep down inside you have a feeling this is going to be the outcome, you often act in ways that are going to prove that to be true because we like being right. I think it's so simple and so true. We just like being right. So if this is the case and this is how our brains work, again, use it in your best interest. Why not use a self-fulfilling prophecy to fulfill a prophecy that's in your best interest, that's you achieving your goals rather than you falling short? And I think you often probably remember or can imagine people who say, I knew I wasn't going to get this. I knew I wasn't going to be able to achieve this. I knew I wouldn't be able to find a partner that I really liked. I knew this was going to end badly, whatever it is. Insert sentence that is similar to that. We often hear that, and that is a self-fulfilling prophecy really in motion, that you saying, I knew this outcome would happen. So rather use this in your best interest and try and have a prophecy that is you achieving your goals, and just really work on your mindset around that and actually believing in it. Thanks so much for listening to this video. If I had to say what I found the most impactful from this book, it was the idea of what you absorb and the effect that this has on you. So for me, that really kind of made a lot of sense and made me realize that a lot of what I was absorbing, be it music, be it TV, be it YouTube, it just wasn't productive. And not to say it always has to be, but majority of the time I want to be listening to things or absorbing things that are in my best interest and that make me feel good. So that means I don't listen to sad music just to make me sad. I listen to music that can uplift me and make me feel good. I don't watch true crime anymore because it makes me feel scared. I rather watch things that are not going to make me feel scared, even if they're still lighthearted and enjoyable. And I also make sure that the YouTube that I watch has an element of making me feel inspired, because I know that my day will start off so much better and I'll feel so much better throughout the day if I started watching something that actually made me feel inspired or excited about something. So see how that sits with you, and hopefully there's a positive impact there. Thanks so much again for sharing your time with me. Leave any thoughts or comments down below. I really like to hear from you and connect with you. And I hope that you found this book helpful to maybe get you out of a rut, to get you going on something, or to bring you some clarity if you were feeling a bit lost.